All right, so thank you for hopping on tonight. Thank you for catching this recording. We are very excited to share with you what some of our takeaways were and what we kind of learned and experienced at Summit. So some of us have kind of planned some things to share. Some of us might share on a whim, whatever we decide. But I will go last, and I will give it up to. We didn't have an order. We just kind of had I just wanted it to be kind of more loose. And if you want to go, you can volunteer to go. And what?
What time is Drink and Daddy gonna come home?
Okay, he has practice until 10 o'clock. Okay? Do you want to say hi to everyone? They can all hear you. So say hi.
Hi.
Okay. All right. Give Mama a kiss. Love you. Good night. Okay. All right. Sorry. So who wants to go first and share? Anyone want to volunteer? Okay, Diana, go ahead. She's got a good one.
Am I sharing?
I don't see anything.
Nothing?
No.
But I have such a nice PD of Chalene.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So I'm quickly going to talk about some takeaways from our girl, Chalene. My girl. First of all, her workout was amazing. A couple of us may or may not have solved, probably more than we do in therapy. She is fantastic. And her speech was really helpful. Her presentation was really helpful. So she started us off by dancing, and this is one of the moves we caught her in. But then she spoke a lot about curiosity marketing and not being white noise. And by that, she really set us up to think how quickly social media changes and how the things that worked last year already are not working. And so how are we, instead of doing attraction marketing and trying to use hashtags or some of the tricks we were using in terms of getting people, how are we instead really using curiosity to spark interest and kind of tease people and then gaining their questions and their curiosity that way. So she gave 3 major tips in thinking about how to do that. And the first one was borrowed words are for the birds. And what she meant by that was it's really important that, yeah, following the top coaches is great. But the reality is they have a platform. They have thousands of followers on their own. So what works for them is not going to work for you. And she also talked very much about the fact that as coaches, we often speak in a coach language that only appeals to other coaches. Like, nobody knows what hashtag necessarily PIO is or hashtag portion control or whatever. So one thing that she really talked heavily about is how are you just being authentically yourself and not just feeling and thinking about what you're seeing from some of the top coaches who are just in a different position than where many of us are. She also mentioned, don't tell me, you're about to sell me. That there are posts that people create that anyone can find if they Google, right? So this image, if somebody sees this image on your Instagram account, this looks like a commercial. And what do we all do with commercials now? We like fast forward through them if we have on demand or we're on Hulu and we don't see them at all. And so if you were to see this image, somebody could Google this and say, oh, here's what Beachbody On Demand is, here's what Beachbody Performance is, and get all of that information on their own. First, something that, like an example here, if you're reading Melanie Mitro's quote right here, she never mentions Shift Shop. She's clearly talking about her experience, talking about her workout. You see the Shift Shop trackers, but at no point do you know exactly what workout she's doing. And so that's creating an appeal that is creating questions like, oh, what is she doing? What are those fun things? I don't know. I want to learn more. So the major difference between how are you being a commercial and how are you just creating some intrigue. Likes where thin, questions are what win. So questions that we've used in the past, can I send you more details about, or have you tried? At this point, many people, we have so many multi-level marketing people in the world of social media that is both a blessing and a curse, right? And so you have Unique, you have Isogenics, you have all of these other, the wine thing, the LuLaRoe thing, all of these different things. And as soon as somebody hears, can I send you more information about, or have you tried? People are just starting to be like, nope, stop, no thank you. So instead, what you should be doing is leaking information. So I've been trying this a little bit this week, where I put a post yesterday that said, just finished my at-home yoga workout with my personal yoga teacher. And so I'm hoping somebody's gonna be like, what? She has somebody coming to our house? No, I don't. But that might spark a question of like, what are you doing? How are you affording that? I don't know. And so that's just some ideas that she had in terms of sparking some interest. Then the last bit of advice Chalene gave was, don't give attention to the negative. Really focusing on your own race. And I think we've seen this image before where Michael Phelps won this competition because he was focusing on his own race and not what other people were doing. I think Chalene said, like, my race is running just fine, and so like, forget you. And just remembering that there are going to be haters, there are going to be people who are sending you negative vibes, but like, you just don't need them. Focus on who you are in your own race. And if you're leading with authenticity, you really don't have anything to be apologetic for. And she also reminded us to have more sex, which was also a throwback to last year. So have more sex. That's all I got.
Awesome. That was perfect. That was like a perfect quick wrap up of Chalene. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, we will move on. Is there anyone that wants to volunteer to share next? Go ahead, Leah.
Okay, so I'm going to go next. I don't have a fancy PowerPoint like Diana, but I guess I'll have to step it up for Thursday. So my summit recap is going to be about why it's important to encourage all of your coaches to attend summits. And the first thing I want to say about that is, one, I'm going to do it from a teacher perspective because I'm a teacher. And two, I want to share my story with you a little bit about something I shared with the other coaches. We talked about how in my life, from early child, my early childhood all the way up until, just recently, things are always changing for me. Things are always changing for everybody. Whether it's things in your relationship, things with your business, things with your full-time job, things with your children, things with yourself. As I'm getting older and in my 30s, there's things that are happening to me. I don't know what to do about them. So everything is always changing. And the one thing that I have found that's not, other than products and programs and everything else that comes out, but is Beachbody, and the support that I receive from my team, the support I receive from other coaches, just as a whole, the support is amazing. And so from a teacher perspective, I want to say, everybody knows if you're a teacher. If you're not a teacher, I'm sure you've been to some sort of conference of some kind. But as a teacher, when we go to a conference over the summer, the first thing that we do is take a bunch of notes, fill up with all of these new ideas, and then we come back and immediately implement that in our classroom. And if we're not implementing in our classroom, we're sharing with other teachers and we're talking about how amazing it is. Well, that's the exact same thing that happened at Summit times 50. It was amazing. And the biggest takeaway for me, again, was the support. And I have never seen so much support in one place. Somebody else mentioned to me that there's a lot of negative things that are on social media. There's a lot of negative things in the world, a lot of negative things in your job. This event was not negative at all. I mean, and everybody was there to help. the other thing I want to talk about is the positivity. Everybody was positive. Everybody was always preaching about being yourself and loving yourself and learning how to grow yourself. And so it was like PD overload. And everybody was sharing their stories. And we always talk about how important it is not to sell, but to share your stories. And it was crazy because everybody was sharing their stories there. And so we all got a chance to see that. The other thing that I thought was really important was seeing these people in person. So since I've started, I have followed other people. I've heard my coach talk about other people. We've watched videos, the National Wake Up Call, podcasts, or even we've followed different surges or different groups. But to see these people in person and to know that they are real and that they have gone through real experiences just like you, it really brought it home for me, because it made me feel like, you know what, this is doable. This is life. This needs to be the life that I choose. And the last thing that I wanted to add to that was it really, the event itself, the way that the company really goes out and goes big for all of their coaches and all of the people that are part of Beachbody was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And I know that now that I've gone, it's all I can think about. Like I on the way home, driving home, I've thought about all the things I could do to change my business, to improve, to reach out to people, to make connections, to help other people. This morning I woke up, didn't want to wake up because I got on really late, but I did, and I was ready to go. And so I think it's really important, whether you have new coaches or whether you have coaches that have already been successful in their business, I think it's very important to encourage them to go to Summit at any cost, whatever they can do to get to Summit, because it really changed the way that I coach. It really changed the way that I look at the business. So that's it.
Thank you, Leah. That was a great perspective. I appreciate you sharing. Okay, who wants to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
All right. So, hang on. This is
Stephanie's
insane.
sharing for the first time. Oh, and you got it.
Yes. Okay, y'all can see it, right?
Yep.
I have no idea how to make it bigger. And you're seeing like all my 1,000 documents from grad school. Okay. So Bonnie Engel, she's amazing. If you are just looking for some really good coaches just to follow, just to kind of get a feel for some different stuff, she's really interesting. I've really enjoyed seeing a lot of her at Summit. This was my first Summit, so a lot of these people I really didn't know until we went, so it was exciting to see them and learn a lot. So she really did a great job talking about branding, and I think like that's a really big thing. I know that it's important. I did like a little webinar like months ago when I first started coaching, and they talked about branding, but I left being like, what do you do? How do you do this? And so I felt like she did a really great job kind of just talking about like how to make it happen. So some of the big points that I took away were that you can't buy branding. You have to create it. So it's nothing you can go and purchase. You can't find someone to create it for you. You have to create it. The big thing that she touched on, and like we hear it all the time, but it was so important to remember, we all have the same products. We all have the same workout programs. We all have Shakeology. What is making it different for each of our businesses is us. It's you. It's what you do to your business and how you present it. It's what makes that your business. So that's really important, that when you're branding, you have to think about what kind of message do you want to send out. Share the thing that makes you different or makes you unique. So I really love that she kind of took that a step forward. Like she didn't just give these ideas. She said like how to do it. So this is what she does. She makes 3 note cards a month, and she gave examples, which I'll show you in a second. And I even posted these in our group page, so that way you can see them. And Diana, I posted them when we were at Summit, and I kept posting the same one. I apologize. So I posted all 3 different ones today. But it's what makes you special, what have I overcome, what is normal about me, because that is what is going to set you apart from other coaches. Okay, that's what makes me different than any other coach on the team. That what makes you different than any other coach on the team. So if you look like, you know, she has her first one, like what makes you special or unique. she gave examples, like, and it's not all just Beachbody related. It's like, I found, this powder for my teeth that works, or I was able to modify my workout, or I was able to experience a personal shopper. Like, she just sells herself. Like, she's not trying to always push Beachbody. She's selling other things. She's selling who she is, her brand. The next one was, what have I overcome? And if you look, folding the laundry, that's not Beachbody related at all, but it's something that she, overcame throughout her day, and it's something that she uses to brand herself. What is normal about me? And if you look, I love the Bruno Mars new song. That's something else, like, that makes her normal, makes her seem just like everybody else. And that's the other thing. Like, sometimes people will say to me, like, oh, you're able to do it because it's you. And I'm like, no, you can do the same thing. It's the program. It's following the nutrition and the workouts. Like, if you put your mind up to it. So it doesn't, we're not anything different. But, this is something really easy that you can incorporate at the beginning of the month and try to add it in, do posts about that. Add those into your posts. Make a post about, maybe you actually got your laundry done today. If that's a struggle for me. So when I get that done, that's a huge victory. You don't always have to be posting about your victories on the scale or off the scale, or, in your personal gym space, or, at the gym that you attend. It doesn't always have to be Beachbody related. You have to figure out what's going to set you aside. I love this. Don't make a transaction, be you. It's not about trying to get someone to buy Shift Shop or trying to get someone to buy, Beachbody on demand. It's you're trying to get people to believe in you and want to ask you to help them. And right there, that's what it should be all about. It's the fact that, it's that right there, the you, not the transaction of buying something for Beachbody. So that's how you can kind of brand yourself, is to put that out there. And so kind of, think about also too, who's your target? If you're a mom, you should be looking for other moms. If you have kids, you should be looking for, someone with little kids or older kids around your same age. Or if you're a teacher, look for someone with a teacher, or whatever what makes you should be looking for those people as well, because that helps you brand yourself, and it helps you relate to those people. Because she also talked about going on to those Facebook groups and finding the groups that are similar. It's silly, but I'm in an Instapot group because I really love my Instapot, if you haven't noticed. It's kind of like a crock pot. So I'm in an Instapot group. So start to interact with those people and start to kind of, make that whole thing happen. And then as you're branding yourself, you're also including in that social media, and you're making contacts with people, and you're able to then be you rather than feel like you're trying to make a transaction the whole time. So that's pretty much it. She really did a great job. So use those pictures and those note cards to help you. Sorry if I talk fast. I was nervous. Even though I'm a teacher, I do this all the time. Still nervous.
That was awesome. Thanks, Steph. I wanted to make a point to recognize Steph because she was our newest coach that attended Summit. So I think that's awesome because she signed up to be a coach way at the end of December, right before January. And I told her when I was at Summit, I know that when I signed up in January and I did not go to Summit on that summer, and I was so mad at myself. So when we had that chat about her considering it, I was like, go, you will kick yourself if you don't. So I was very proud of you, Steph, for going and being.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing.
Sure.
Okay, Casey, do you want to go?
Yep. Okay. So my presentation was on developing leaders, and Micah Folsom and Nikki, is it Whiting? Is that how you pronounce your last name? Okay. They were the two that did this presentation. Basically, they talked about the best way to reach your goals is to empower your coaches to reach theirs. So they gave several different ways that you can do this. So the first thing they talked about was connecting with your coaches before you actually ask them to make a change. So you want to connect with them to find out what their long-term goals are. And another thing you want to do, the second thing, was to create a culture of belief. So to do that, you would want to begin and lead with your vision. So you need to have a strong vision yourself. and you need to share it with your team, and you also need to share your goals with your coaches. And then you can empower your coaches through recognition. So they gave an example of having like a weekly top 10 to recognize people for things like being a team leader, or for their volume, or like we do like the life changers, so doing different things like that. And then they also talked about mindset and how important that was. And it basically said that you want to recognize your coaches as leaders, so then they will believe that they are leaders. So help create that mindset through recognition. And then also it talked about leaning in, especially when like you might feel like pulling back at first, because sometimes they might need you to reach out and just let them know and remind them that, you know, you're there to help them. The third thing they talked about was giving your coaches room to create their own vision. So you want to connect with your coaches so you can find out things that they love, and you can find out what their goals are. Connect with them to find out, you know, how do they learn best, and what can you do to help them? How can you help them to move forward? So just really having open communication there to make sure that you have a good understanding of what their goals are so they can create their own vision. The fourth thing was setting expectations. So in terms of that, they suggested having good duplicatable systems in place. And I think Michelle has done like an amazing job of this. She has, you know, she's very consistent. She's got great systems in place. Everything she does is very duplicatable. And then also set good examples by being consistent. So if they see you being consistent, you know, you're setting a good example, they're going to want to be consistent. Also show up. That goes along with, you know, being consistent. Show up every day. Do the 4 vital behaviors. Show them that you're doing them so they can do them. And then give them someone to follow. And basically by doing all of those things that I mentioned, you know, they're going to follow you and want to be more like you. I also talked about, the next point was being consistent with the basics. So basically demonstrate it with your lifestyle, you know, incorporate doing the basics into your lifestyle, like share your personal development, you know, make working out a part of your lifestyle, you know, even eating healthy with your family, share it that way. Don't overcomplicate it. And then they also talked about recognition again here as well, because recognition is really important, because they just talked about empowering your coaches and how a good way to empower them is through recognition. And then the last one they talked about again is empowering them with confidence and credibility. So call on them to lead. Give them situations where they can be leaders. So for example, when we have our call on Thursday, I know a bunch of people, everyone gets a little chance to, you know, do their own version of leading where they can talk about their own piece. Like Michelle lets everyone else have their own part to hold them accountable and allow them to feel like they're part of the team. You want to praise them when they do well, because they will love affirmation and recognition. And then just give them a sense of responsibility. And that was most of the points that I got. And then they also talked about a quote from a book by John Maxwell called No Limits. And it basically just said, life is about people, find normal people and develop them. And that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Casey has officially gone to every summit with me. So that was our 4th summit, which is pretty awesome that we've gone to every one together.
Yeah.
Okay, Terry, are you ready, or do you want me to go first? You're good? Okay. All right. Terry's got like a big job, I feel like.
It's not that big. I'm so sorry I'm late. Oh my God. I was at this, it was actually really fun. This local bar near us was doing yoga on the deck. And I mean, it's kind of like a little random, not random, it's a very popular bar. But so I went and did yoga, and then we were going to eat, and the yoga was at 6:30. So I was like, perfect, we'll eat, you know, it took forever. All I ended up having was a house salad. I was like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. So, all right, let me share and pull up, because I just made a couple slides.
Was it like hot yoga with the humidity?
Pretty much, yeah. I was covered in
Break
sweat.
room for free.
Yeah. Pretty much. Okay. Can you guys see that? Can you see my slides?
I don't see anything.
No.
No? Okay.
No, just your pretty face, Terry.
Oh, okay. I hit share screen. Oh, wait. There we go.
You're good
Now?
now. Yep.
Okay. Let me get my slides up. Okay. So, very, very, very quickly. One of the things my job is just to kind of go through quickly some of the announcements that were made and the new things we learned. And most of this came in the opening session, the opening whole group session. So the first thing was they went into quite a bit of detail about some clinical studies that have been done on Shakeology and on Energize, and they were very eye-opening. And I didn't include my pictures of the slides, but we can share. We all took pictures of the slides. We can share them. But the first one was just about Energize and how they tested people. It was really interesting the way they described it, that they had people take Energize and they were taking like little bits of it over time. And then some people were doing a placebo where they weren't having anything. And then they measured things like their perceived exertion, meaning how much how hard they thought they were working, their power output, their performance, and their total work done. And all of their perceived exertion decreased. So people were under the impression that they weren't working as hard, but their output and their performance and their total work all increased while taking Energize. And then the findings about Shakeology showed that it decreased hunger. And they actually said that they were having people use either Shakeology or, again, a placebo. And then they were presenting them with a pizza afterward and measuring how much people ate. And the people who had Shakeology had a decreased hunger, less of a desire to eat, a lower appetite, and took in, I think it was 180 less calories. So that was kind of interesting. So, and I'm sure there'll be those slides and that information will be on the website and it'll be in the surge tomorrow night too. But that would be a really cool thing to share. Like, hey, it's not just me saying this, but there's actually been studies done now that show that these things work. And then we got a whole slew of things that we're excited about, different dates. So Daily Sunshine is the first one that was announced, which is the shake that is geared toward kids, but it's really family friendly. In fact, Carl was saying that, you know, he uses it as a snack in the afternoon. And that is available now. And it's the same price as Shakeology. It comes in the same way. I actually looked it up today, that you can get, you know, in a bag, either the strawberry banana or the chocolate, or you can get a packet of mixed half and half. And don't pop in the camera. My son's coming over stalking like he's going to pop his head in the camera. I have had both of my kids try it and they both really liked it a lot. So it's basically maybe not quite as intense as Shakeology, but loaded with vegetables. It's supposed to be a serving of fruits and vegetables and just a good healthy snack option or supplement option for kids. September, there's going to be something called Clean Week, which is pretty cool. That's utilizing the super trainer from the 20s from the competition. And it's set up to be basically like a free group already completely made for you to use. And the idea is to use it to get people engaged and easily transition them into a challenge pack and a regular group. So the meal plans will be done, the workouts will be ready, and the workouts that she's doing, she's basically sampling different workouts that are available on Beachbody On Demand. So she's going to say, this is a move that you'll see in 21 Day Fix. This is a move you might see in PiYo. So she's really kind of giving a taster of all the different workouts and the meal plans and things will be ready, which will be nice. It'll be a big push to get a lot of people in. And then the other thing in September is that the 10% club membership offer is going away. And what they talked about with that, and Michelle, maybe you could clarify this, is that that was kind of a disadvantage to coaches as far as commission was concerned. So they're kind of phasing that offer out. I don't know. Am I being clear enough about that? I'm going to make sure I'm explaining that.
Some of the coaches, because I've been in the Dynasty Wall, they talked about it. So initially, like, you didn't really get much from being a club member. So that was why they kind of offered this 10% discount. But now, because the club is such a huge advantage, like there's so much to offer now with it, with Beachbody On Demand, there's no need for that 10% discount. And really, it's taking, because so many people are signing up with All Access and club members, it's taking away from, the coaches earning when they're already getting so much. So yes, they're taking away that 10% offer.
Right.
And one more thing to add about the Clean Week too, that goes along with the club membership. So, how with the 14-day trial, technically they sign up with that, and then they have to cancel it to either quit the club membership, or they have to cancel it to sign up with the All Access Challenge Pack, which is ridiculous. And they're working on that. But this, with the Clean Week, they will not have to sign up for anything. So there's no like canceling of anything when you sign up with the Clean Week. And it does include the 7 days of Shakeology. I can't remember if you said that, Terry.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that, but that's right. It does include that. So it's like technically not free, but along the same lines, because it gives them all the meal plans, access to all the recipes and everything, workouts, and then essentially they're paying for the Shakeology that week. Right. So then in October, so there's big changes coming to the online office and the website. And just they basically have reworked everything to make it a lot more user-friendly on our end as far as coaches are concerned, but also on the customer end. So October is the new Coach online office, and they kind of showed us a little bit of what it's going to look like, a lot more user-friendly, easy to access things, just easier to understand. And then the UK launch is coming in October as well. And there was like an event that went along with that, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot coming out about that. And then in November is the launch of Double Time, which is the workout that Tony Horton did. And it actually looks pretty cool. The whole premise behind it is like getting, families together, people together. It has to, what I liked about the way they described it was, like if you remember the buddy workout from 22 Minute Hardcore, they had someone there. So if you didn't have a buddy, you could still do it. The idea with this one is you have to have someone else with you in order to do the workout. So parents and kids, spouses, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's very family friendly. But the idea is get up, have fun, get moving, and, do something together, get away from your phone, get away from the TV, that kind of thing. So it's played up very much in that way. So it's kind of nice that we can sort of pair Daily Sunshine and Double Time. And then also there's the other family-friendly workouts on Beachbody On Demand. You can kind of tap into that kind of, reaching kids, reaching families, that sort of thing. So then in December is when the new website launches, and they talked about really improving the options for executing orders and coach signups, where we can go in kind of like we can do with Coach Mobile now and execute the sign up, and then the email just gets pushed out to that potential coach. Now that's going to be able to be done with orders too. So if you have someone, they want this challenge, they want an All Access Challenge Pack, they want a bag of chocolate, you can set the whole thing up and it just pushes the email out to them. So they're not having to kind of navigate the site with your link and everything like that. So that's kind of a nice feature. And they just showed us how the website just looks so much more user-friendly. And like how the pricing is much less confusing. And when you're looking at the different options for the programs, the challenge pack is always going to come first. So it definitely has a much better look to it. And then the final thing is that there's a new diamond bonus for the third and fourth quarters. And this is starting right away, that if you achieve, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I want to make sure my notes were so quickly written, but if you achieve diamond status within that quarter, so you don't start the quarter as a diamond, but if you achieve diamond status, maintain it for 6 consecutive weeks within that 3-month period, and you also achieve Success Club each month of that quarter, you get a $250 bonus. So that was something that was pretty exciting as well. So that is it. Please add anything if there's something I'm forgetting, because like I said, my notes were all over the place.
I think you did an awesome job recapping all that. I think so when they showed us pictures of the new website, so you know how they kind of redid Beachbody on Demand and that look, I feel like they're all gonna match each other. And you guys could tell me if I'm wrong, but it looked to me like they kind of all look this. They're going to all look the same. It reminded me of Beachbody on Demand and those icons and everything, kind of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be kind of like straight across the board looking like that. So just a uniform, fresh, easy to user-friendly look. So yeah, so lots of exciting stuff going on. And Terry had mentioned the surge. There's a surge tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. So Carl Degler had suggested to do basically a team surge after, but we are doing it tonight. Tomorrow I leave for vacation. So this is kind of our team surge. And then the surge with Carl Degler will be tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So you can catch that as well. Yay, Lola came on. Lola, do you want to share?
I just walked in the door and I don't. What are we doing?
So we were just all taking turns kind of sharing our takeaways. I can go next if you want to.
Okay, you go next, and sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll go after. Okay.
Sounds good, because I don't think Melissa got on. Yeah, she must be still trying to put Savannah to bed. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share about something that I was the only one that went to this because this was something new that they offered, and I thought that this was really awesome. So as this is my 4th summit that I've gone to, you know, some of the information is like, it's great reminders, but obviously like being a coach for this long and being at my 4th summit, obviously some of the information is repetitive, but again, always good reminders. And then there's fresh information like Chalene shared, and you know, the speakers that we hear from like Brennan Burchard and Darren Hardy, like that's like personal development focused, which I think we can all agree that personal development was a common theme throughout this entire summit, just how important it is to do your personal development because when you don't have that belief in yourself, that confidence in yourself, and the belief and confidence in what we're doing as coaches, it's really hard to help other people. So that was definitely a common theme. But I wanted to share something. So they had a leadership workshop. And so if you were 2-star diamond or above, you qualified for this. So it was pretty cool. It was a more intimate setting. It was a whole afternoon instead of going. So I missed some of the trainings the one day, but it was a whole afternoon. We got an hour with Brennan Burchard, and then we got 2 more hours, actually longer than that because it went over. Everyone else got out early, and I was there till like an hour longer than them. But it was so many amazing top coaches, and then also Kim Carver, who is part of corporate. But I just wanted to share one of them with that Melissa McAllister spoke about. She was one of the top 10 coaches this year. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, can you guys see my screen? Yeah. Okay. All right, so like I said, this was separate. This was something different that they offered this year, and I hope they continue to offer this because I think it was very beneficial. Okay, so this was really cool. She talked about the different phases of coaching and what the coach should focus on and what you as the upline coach can do to help them. So I find this great because I am always looking for simple ways to explain, what you can do as a coach and help people to understand that these things are very basic, and for new coaches in particular to not get overwhelmed with too much. So this is an example. So all the screens with blue are for them, meaning the coach would do. And the red screens that say you, that's you as the upline coach, how you can help support them. So if you look at the blue slide, this is for a new coach. So if this pertains to you, if you are a newer coach, these would be your focuses. You're committing to drinking Shakeology daily. You're building your self-belief through personal development. And she actually recommended Rising Strong by Brene Brown. When we were talking within our small group on Sunday, we also thought that You Are a Badass would be a good one too, to focus on that self-belief, because as a new coach, that is definitely something that's important. To work out every day and to start conversations and build relationships. That is the main focus of a new coach. So how simple does that look? Just seeing those 4 things written. And obviously what really stands out, and you can see on the slide on the right where it says vital behaviors at the bottom, it's really hard actually to see underneath, but she kind of ranked the 4 vital behaviors, with one being a tiny bit more important than the others in each different phase as a coach. And for a new coach, being a product of the product would be just a tiny bit more important than those other vital behaviors. So that's why it's ranked as number 1. But some of the things that you can do, you can check out their social media, help them with what they're posting. Obviously, check on them periodically, understand their story, mentor them, and track and review their results. And I'm going to share a tracker with you, but they really talked. I know that we have a tracker check-in each week, but tracking is so important. Whatever, being able to identify what you are doing in this business and what you aren't doing in this business is going to really help you succeed and reflect and assess with your own business on what you're doing and what you need to do more of. All right, so this would be if you are working towards, you're not in that new coach phase anymore, you are building and you are working towards reaching that goal of being a diamond coach. So again, them and you slides. So for the diamond coach or someone that's working to achieve diamond, you want to focus your PD on organization and time management. And the personal development book that she recommended was The Power of Self-Discipline. And you can see inviting there is going to be that most important vital behavior when you're working towards achieving diamond rank, with spending 80 to 90% of your time inviting. You're going to start building your brand, and that's exactly what Stephanie talked about, building your brand, and then continuing to invest back into their business. So that might be going to Summit, purchasing a ticket for Summit. Maybe that's like using a SynthShare account, like you see some of us have a scheduler to schedule posts. Maybe that might be utilizing your like page and using ads, things like that. But investing in your business is important for that. So then you, as the upline coach, what you can do to help them would be to help them define that brand, provide clarity on their why. We know going back to that why is so important. And then obviously for each one, it's always the 4 vital behaviors. But if there is one vital behavior that was a little bit more important than the others, it would be inviting for diamond coaches and those looking to achieve diamond rank. Okay, and then this is 2 to 5 star. So if you are looking to achieve 2 to 5 star, you would focus your PD on leadership. And the book that she recommended was called Lean In. And you're spending 75% of your time inviting. You're working on your team culture, and you're working on developing those new leaders, which Casey talked about tonight too. So that's what you would focus on as the coach. If you were the upline, you would lead mastermind groups. So for instance, we have like a leadership team within Team Fit and Focus. So having kind of that mastermind group. giving back to your team. So they talked about retreats, and sometimes I do those giveaways and give out prizes and things like that, little incentives. And then if there was a vital behavior that was just a little bit more important for this rank, it would be personal development. So I like how she broke it down, and I'm going to post all of these slides in our team page. I'm actually going to make an album of all the slides that I have that I took pictures of. And for those of you that also went to Summit, if I don't include something, especially that day I wasn't there and I was in the leadership workshop, feel free to plop your slides in there too if you took pictures. Okay, so this is something that I am going to post in our page as a PDF, but this is called Win the Week. This is a different style of tracker, which I thought was really cool. So you've seen different trackers that people have used. People have come up with their own trackers. I have posted trackers that you can use where you can use tallies and check marks. This is just boxes to put check marks in. So, and I love how nutrition is incorporated in this. But so she included, and again, this was Melissa McAllister that used this. She specifically said to get your new coaches started with tracking right away. And this was a tracker that she used. And the first thing was 21 healthy meals. So, instead you can look at it as weekly instead of necessarily like what you're doing each day. And you can spread it out through the week. I mean, I find that to be best when you're just consistent and spread it out through the week. But also looking at like the boxes that you need to check off throughout the week. So obviously 21 healthy meals, that's going to be like essentially 3 healthy meals a day. Obviously we have snacks and stuff too that could count, but 21 healthy meals. 21 connections, which she didn't have on there. I recreated this for us, but she didn't have the connections, and I think that's very important to include that on there. So 21 connections, that's just those connections where you're building relationships with people. You're saying, hey, how are you? How's your summer? Just getting to know people. So 21 connections, 21 challenge group invites, and then it goes down into 5 workouts, 7 Shakeology, 7 lifestyle posts. So I love how she includes it instead of just posts, because we say 3 to 5 times a week, or 3 to 5 times a day posting. She specifically points out 7 lifestyle posts. So that's just like your everyday life, what's going on, how can people relate to you and get to know you a little bit more. And then 7 fitness/nutrition posts. So maybe things about your workouts or your meal plans or recipes, that kind of thing. 10 minutes of reading or listening to audio a day, which ends up being 7 boxes for that. 3 coaching posts. So we've kind of talked about that, how we include posts that kind of like indirectly talk about coaching and, like the rewards of coaching, how it's benefited you, that kind of thing, sneaking those things in a little bit. 3 recognition posts. And then here it has aiming to help 1 person a week, either with a challenge pack or Shakeology. And ultimately, if you helped 1 person a week, if you broke it down like that, what would you end up with, right? Success Club 8, basically. But that would help you achieve Success Club that month. So kind of breaking it down that way. So you get 2 Success Club points a week, and then 1 new coach, aiming to try to help 1 person get started as a coach or transition from a challenger to coach. So I thought this was a really cool tracker. I'm definitely going to post it in the group to share with you guys as another way to help you track your business. Oh. Okay, and then this last thing I wanted to say, it's like cut off a little bit. But this is something that I heard. I posted this in our Summit group. And so not all of you went to Summit, but Kim Carver said this in his little talk. It said, do not walk away from the investment you made here by confusing good intentions with decisions. And I really liked that because, first of all, for those of us that went to Summit, we made that investment, but all of us have made an investment in our business, right? It may have only been $140 or maybe it was $40, however you started as a coach. But a lot of us have good intentions. We want to do this. This would be great. We think of all these different ideas, but it's a matter of making a decision to actually do it, making a decision to implement something that you learned at Summit, or making a decision, if you're watching this right now and you're learning something new, making a decision to implement it. And other ways that you can make a decision and not walk away from this investment that you have made becoming a coach is, I just wanted to mention upcoming, we have Team Cup next month. August 1st is Team Cup, and it's a great way to work with a team of coaches to really work on building your businesses together, to get that support, to help each other out, to help a lot of people, to really plug in. So that is one way. We have our Coach Open House on Thursday. Inviting to that, paying this amazing opportunity forward, helping people understand what we do, because we know there's a lot of people that don't understand what we do as coaches. So this is just a way to show them what we do. So plugging into our Coach Open House and getting people invited to that. And then, of course, our Summit tickets are on sale for next year. It's in Indianapolis. The coaches are discounted right now. They are $145, and they are refundable and transferable up until, I know they're refundable up until the end of December-ish. I don't know for sure. But and then they're also transferable too, which sometimes in the past the cheapest tickets haven't been transferable, but this time they are making the cheapest tickets transferable. So this is definitely a way to make a decision to pay this forward and get more involved. So I just wanted to share that with all of you. All right. Okay, so Lola, would you like to share with us? Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Some people were sharing slides. Some people were just sharing their takeaway. This was Lola's first time. She was one of our 2 Canadians. Actually, our other Canadian is still in New Orleans with her husband right now. So, so Lola, even just tell us, what did you think of the whole experience?
I thought it was awesome. I was exhausted. But
You don't sleep when you're at Summit.
no, you don't sleep. And I thought, like, I don't know if I had expectations or not, but I kind of in my head was like, oh, I'll go back and take a nap before we like go on to the next thing, like before we got there. And then when we got there, I realized, no, there's no time to take a little nap. It's go, go, go. Yeah, which is awesome. Like it's a huge adrenaline rush I found, and I think that's why I'm so tired. I'm still really tired. Like the last couple of days I've been just completely exhausted, but it's a lot mentally. You're given a lot of information, very useful information. I took a buttload of notes, and then just like the atmosphere is really cool. Just everyone's there and they have the same beliefs, and the same drive or more drive, which makes you want it more too. One of the things that I'm just looking through my notes, and I remember Amy Silverman. I quite like her. I think because she's so different, like as a person. And she said that, you need to break out of your comfort zone. And that spoke to me because I am not a huge risk taker. So I find it quite challenging to invite people or to ask people, questions that maybe I haven't talked to them in a while, and I just get really super nervous. And I remember listening to a video a while back, and it said if you count to 5 and just do it, because if you don't do it within 5 seconds, you'll never do it. So I always tell myself, okay, just freaking, write, do you want to join this challenge, group with me or whatever, and just count to 5. Press send, because if you don't press it in 5 seconds, it's just, I think I'll dwell on it, and you'll never send it, or you'll find an excuse not to anyways. So that's one thing that stood out. Another thing was that relates to that is to feel the fear and do it anyway. And the 3-foot rule. So don't rule anybody out. And I think that has a lot to do with fear. You're like, oh, they probably don't want to be a coach. Oh, they probably are really super busy and don't want to be a part of the challenge group. Don't rule anyone out, because you never know. And don't be selfish. Give the universe a chance and pay it forward. The
I love
end.
that. That goes on with like prejudging. Like not
Yeah.
I think that I have definitely caught myself prejudging in the past. And honestly, like you never know when this could change someone's life, and someone that really needs this opportunity in their life or really needs it. So I think
Yeah, like I think like a lot of the time people aren't being selfish or anything, but I know for myself, I'll go through my list of people and I'll be like, oh, she probably doesn't want to do this right now. She just had a baby. Or I'll be like, he's a guy and he probably will think I'm crazy for asking him or think he's doing his own workouts or whatever. But how do I know? Like,
yeah.
So, yeah.
Exactly. And Lola also had our Team Fit and Focused husband this year. It's really funny because the past 4 years, we've always had a husband. 2 of the years it's been Rob, and 2 of the years it has not. So Brandon was like our picture taker for the week.
He loved it. He loved being like the picture taker.
Yeah, he was honestly like amazing. Rob is like, oh, like again. And Brandon's like, sure, okay.
He's like, I think you should stand over here. So you
yeah, do you want me to take a picture of you guys?
That's what I was going to say. He took so many pictures for us. And he was even suggesting the pictures. He was like, you guys should all get over there. Let me take your picture.
Yeah, he loved it.
So,
He was
really
so
can you
nice
tell us,
and so patient.
yes. Can you tell us what
he
he
really
thought
liked
of it? Like what?
He really liked it. I mean, like a lot of the stuff he didn't know what was going on, but I think now he has a better understanding of what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think, and he wants to come next year, so it's cool.
Awesome. Well, I just signed up Rob, so maybe we'll have at least two.
Yeah, there we go.
Husbands. So I told Rob he's going. It's only 5.5 hours from Pittsburgh, so that's kind of nice.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mine's already gonna be there, so.
That's right. Diana met her future husband, and he is going to. They're going to be married.
Wait, I didn't hear
We'll have
that.
a wedding there.
What did you say? They're gonna get married?
That's the plan.
Yep.
Have you connected with them since?
Yeah.
Yes?
Just like a little bit. I just sent him a message, and then he sent some back, and then I sent some flirty, and then he responded, and now it's been nothing.
For now.
Slow and steady, ladies. Slow and steady.
Slow and
You're following him on Facebook, right? Or Instagram?
Insta.
Yeah.
You can connect them that way.
Diana, would you like to tell your story really quick?
Sure.
Because Aaron just asked.
Very quickly. I was listening to I Am Team Beachbody, all of those 30 podcasts in the month of May, and Patrick was one of the stories. I was like, he sounds very interesting. See, Aaron knows. I see Aaron's face. So I looked him up on Instagram, and I was like, oh, hot damn. I took a screenshot. I sent it to Shell. I was like, we need to find him at Summit. And so I was just following him from there. He has a very interesting story. He seems very family-oriented. He's from the Northeast originally, lives by the beach now.
He's super cute.
Super cute, and I was obsessed.
Who
a
did
little
we
bit
run
obsessed.
into the last night of Summit?
On the last night, walking home from the post-celebration, going on our way to Cafe Du Monde, I was like, Shell, that's him. That's my boyfriend. So I kept looking at her, looking at him, looking at her, looking at him. I was like, I'm doing it. And I like tapped him on the shoulder. I was like, hi, Patrick? Yes. So I loved your story. Can I have a picture? He took a picture. He chatted with us for like a block or two.
He
And then
had
we
his
parted
dad
ways.
with him.
He had his dad with him because his whole family, his whole first line is like family, cousin, sister, mom, dad. Everybody was there. Looked like an amazing time via Instagram. He's in the Millionaires Club. Been in the business for 9 years. Team Boom. And so I messaged him. I was like, just pleasure running into you. You seem like a very nice person. I just thought you should know. He was like, thanks so much. And then I sent a picture. Oh, I asked him what his goals were. He didn't respond very well to that. So I sent the picture we took, and then I said at the end, I was like, oh, and I also sent the pictures because I figured you'd want to frame it. He was like, oh, it's framed already. And that was like the end of it. I was hoping he'd follow me, but he didn't.
Well,
It's
Jess asked
okay.
for a picture, so you can just post a picture in our team page. So now that everyone's gonna wonder,
Oh, that's
after watching
creepy.
this. Okay, all right. I'm gonna let you guys go because it's 10 o'clock. I know we went long, but and hopefully those that could not hop on, maybe they will share their takeaways in our team page, maybe through a live video. But thank you. We hope more of you will be with us next year. Anyone buy their tickets yet?
Yay! Leah! Yay!
So get those tickets, but I think it's through only through the 24th for the discounted tickets. So, and like I said, they're refundable and transferable, so definitely worth it. I would get there with us next year.
I do have a question.
Yep.
It's like if the husband goes, does he need a ticket as well if he's not going to be attending some of the things, if he's just going?
Well, Brandon went to everything with us, but I still buy Rob a ticket because he's gone to all the general sessions, the workouts. They need tickets for that. So
Okay.
Otherwise they would literally be not like Lola said, it's like go. So it's nonstop. However, one thing that Heather did and gave me a great idea. Heather had her husband Brent come the last day. She bought him a ticket just for Celebration, and he attended Celebration with us on Saturday night. And then they actually extended their stay. They're coming home tomorrow.
Okay.
So that is an option.
Gotcha.
But yeah, because when Lola told me Brandon was coming originally, she wasn't going to get him a ticket. And I told her, like, you know, it's worth it. It's worth it for if they are going to come to attend some of the things because they get an idea of the big picture. Just as you do, they see it too.
Yeah.
Being that supportive spouse. So,
Okay.
but so just a thought.
Gotcha. Thanks.
No problem. Any other questions about anything we went over? Okay, if you have any questions, post them in our team page. Thanks, ladies, for hopping on tonight. Have a great night.